I've been here for like 3 days now, and I've managed to move around different parts of the Netherlands and, of course, Brussels. Met with people of different backgrounds and authorities, particularly the EU Commissioner and the members of Parliament from the Labour Party, Animal Party, and the Liberal Party. And we have had quite an intensive discussion about the biofuel investment companies in East Africa, particularly in Tanzania. If you look at the way the companies have been working at the grassroots level, here you find people who are primarily depending on land for their livelihoods. And introduction of the large-scale farming, the estates, actually primarily denied them direct access to land and the land resources, because the land in our own country is not just only a resource where you can farm and get produce out of it, but it is a full livelihood. People get access to water, they get actually building materials from the same land. You see the thatched grass houses, they are actually resources from the same land that if the companies come and are given all of it, then it means you have cut off the survival of the people that entirely depended on the resources. But also the kind of compensation that the companies are giving to the communities is not quite enough, because compensation relies on the principles of three. You have to pay it full, prompt, and fair. But when it comes to one is losing all what he had, it's very difficult to have a full compensation paid in one installment, unless there is an arrangement where these communities can enter into agreement with the companies to continue benefiting as shareholders or benefiting from percentage of the proceeds. Then you can say, okay, the companies are investing for the mutual benefit of the communities, and the companies themselves. But there's also an aspect of food security, where you have these companies, when they get into the production, the land is taken away, and therefore it is affecting the production of food by the local communities. And as I have always been referring to the green gold, when the large-scale farms were established, most of the people actually were rushing from various parts, abandoning their primary farming activities to join the companies' estates, and by those doing, they are compromising their own food security, because they are no longer involved in the production. So all these are the implications that eventually befall on the survival of the people at the grassroots community. There is a strong support, of course, from the policymakers that they need to take the matter further to the Parliament. But also there's a feeling among the parliamentarians that they should actually wipe off completely the large-scale investment and production of biofuel from first generation. That's the crops that the people are also using for food. And the role of the civil society, of course, both in our countries and here in Europe, is quite important in terms of continuing stressing the issues for the parliamentarians to take on board, and the role of the government as well in our own countries as well as here, in terms of strengthening the institutional capacity of the regulatory authorities in our own homes, but also putting mechanisms that they can enable the companies to be monitored, and some actions taken against those that are not operating according to the rules of the game that are established here in their own countries. So generally that was quite an impressive, and I think there's a lot of enthusiasm from the members of Parliament, as I saw. And it is optimistic that maybe in future, given the performance of the companies currently now in my own country, maybe the CAP is going to work, but also generally maybe the sustainability criteria that we have been discussing about and the livelihood of the people are going to be preserved.